fazer ela apontar.
What has been the future in the past 5 years, it has become clearer. What is it gonna be like? Less noise.
I think in the past the future was very utopian, and I think that that's shifted so that people now think of the future as being very dark and apocalyptic and gritty. And I think that that's something that the festival is trying to kind of recover and rehabilitate the idea of the future as something that could be utopian, something that is about inclusivity, about people meeting, talking to each other, coming from completely different backgrounds and walks of life, and being comfortable in the same space. And I think that this environment is perfect for it.
The purpose of digital media, why are we using it? And how can we use it in order to actually and genuinely become a healthier society?
We are approaching the legal issues, the social context, the best way to organize the people in terms of human resources, how to do a lot with few economical resources. And in the end, we want to gather everything and have like not a guide, but like an introduction to how to set up a community radio.
The purpose was to begin to be able to map an invisible part of the city, which is the vacant houses in Porto. And I say invisible because you can see it in the city, but you cannot get a bird's eye view. So the plan was to map them on an actual map, which is on an online platform. And the work of the participants of the lab was to go out in the city and take notes of which houses are abandoned and then come back and add them to our online platform.
We are here to make some new chairs, some new visibility to this concept of the chair, and also to make some connections, some bonding with the project from the city of Paredes.
Track number 3, and middle.
Chaos. I think the whole idea of the sweatshop is it's going to be the first time we've done the sweatshop with this concept. So the concept, I can explain the concept of course, which is to consider how music is consumed in a digital age, in an age when there aren't really music fans, and yet still the fandom, the concept of like pop fandom exists, where there aren't really like the networks and supports to kind of like put this music out into the world. So a lot of what this silly project that we're doing, a silly music project, is to kind of like interrogate how music is distributed, how music is enjoyed these days. So whether it's going to be a success or not tomorrow, I've got no idea. Whether it's going to be enjoyable or not, I've got no idea. But it's going to be an entertainment.
The 333 Sweatshop
Orchestra.
J.C. Jackson, the death of Prince Charles, the death of Mary Ellen, the death of Missy Elliott, the death of the Sandy Ministries, the death of El Salvador, the death of the Chile, the death of... Thank you! That was my personal favorite.
There's this bench where people can sit and send the messages, and we have the analog version of the Twitter where we just go out in the streets with speech balloons, and people can write a message on those balloons and any message they want.
Yeah, I just asked them to go to the streets, to participate in other labs, in other sessions, in other events that were happening in the future places, to see how the festival is by the eyes of these participants on our lab.
I have the feeling that it's also very much connected with something that I could name as rematerialization. Like, of course, digital media is super important, networking is very powerful in terms of how people connect, but I have the feeling that this year it's even more about the specificity of the reality in Porto.
Well, today I'll be talking about my intervention project that is called Mais Menos, which means plus minus. I'm gonna speak about how it gave birth and how it developed through the years. And in the end I'm gonna speak about the illusion of subversion. Like 10 years ago, if you were a street artist, you had to do 500 stencils all over the city, all over the world, for people to see it. Nowadays, there's a new street. It's the virtual street.
Our work, our performance piece is not really digital at all. It's all analog devices, knobs with switches, and I hope you film some of it. Do-it-yourself, accessible, homemade. After our show, we'll show the audience how we do what we do. We'll let the audience come up on stage and look at our equipment and play with it if they want to. But it's not very digital. There's no laptops in our performance. I actually don't like laptops in music. I don't like seeing laptops being used in music shows. I think it's really boring.
Brutal, sem dúvida, tipo, é muito bom ver que o assunto é discutido e ouvir opiniões diferentes. É brutal. Ter isso na minha cidade, à Palo, brutal. Espero que continue a haver durante muitos mais anos, não só dentro deste tema, mas todos os temas relacionados com tecnologia, novidades.
It seems it's very unpretentious. It seems like it's a strong sense of community. it doesn't feel like I'm just dealing with a bureaucracy or a very official corporate organization, like some festivals that I've been in. And it has a really nice quality to it.
Sim, espero bem que haja. Que hajam mais festivais deste género, não tem que ser propriamente Future Places, mas festivais de arte sem ser só festivais de música e concertos, acho que tem todo o interesse.
And so I'm really pleased with the direction that the festival's gone in, because I think now it's much more focused on the community in Porto and the people who don't necessarily define themselves as artists. People who don't necessarily say, oh, I'm a musician, I'm an activist, I'm an artist. They can be anybody. I mean, as Heitor was saying in his opening speech, I guess it was yesterday, I mean, hairdressers or car mechanics or just anybody can be a part of this. Anybody can be a part of the future.
We are surrounded by a lot of information, digital mostly, and we see it, but we don't think about it. And I think that Future Places brings that. They provoke us in a way that we have to stop and think of what is surrounding us.
A lot of workshops, a lot of thinking, a lot of talking, new connections, new friends, new allies, and also a possibility to look back and understand what we've done so far in 5 years, and therefore hope that this 5-year perspective will also help us understand what's coming in the next 5 years at the very least.
So anybody can be a part of the future. You don't have to be a special person to be part of the future. You don't need to be a theorist or an academic or some great painter or some great digital media artist. You can be whoever you are and be in the future and have that connection with people.
Which is another reason why we need to make sure that we get rid of the noise. We need to know what needs to be done. And digital media can help us in that sense. We can connect ourselves in different ways, in less hierarchical ways, become less dependent on the idea of a higher power. Take charge. It's our challenge. What do we propose? What do we want? Individually, or as small communities, or as families. And then we can start meeting people who we would not otherwise meet. What I call social promiscuity.
I mean, the noise, I think, would come from the diversity of so many different people coming together, so many different backgrounds and perspectives. And so it is a lot of noise. It's a lot of very divergent opinions and ideas coming together. But at the same time, there is, I think, the clarity in the community that is created. That from this diversity, you do get this space, both in a kind of abstract sense as well as in a physical sense, where people can come together and there is noise, but it's okay.